Welcome to How to Be 60, the podcast about making this your best decade yet. I'm Kaye Adams, and I'll be honest, I'm enjoying life a lot more than expected. And joining me, as ever, is my very smug friend, Karen MacKenzie, who never misses a chance to say, "Told you so."
And I'm wondering how to be 60. It's scaring the shit out of me.
This week, the woman who said farewell to her 60s with a very special present to herself. She hired a male escort.
It wasn't like I was looking for sex particularly, but I was really scared of becoming a non-sensual, non-sexual being as I went into this new decade.
Hi everyone, welcome to How to Be 60 with Kaye and Karen. I'm Kaye, she's Karen, just in case anyone gets confused. Not that they're going to confuse us, are they really?
No, they're not.
Oh dear,
No.
we're starting off in a bad mood already.
No,
I
absolutely.
can see it.
I'm not in a bad mood at all. I'm not in a bad mood at all. It's very pleasant in the old fridge today.
Yeah, it's not a fridge today.
No,
it's
not
an
actually.
Oven.
It's an oven today.
Yeah, you've got
pleasant
some
oven.
disconcerting wet patches underneath. Anyway, let's
I have not.
Right, listen, we've got a goodie this week.
Yes.
We've got a goodie every week.
We have.
To be fair. But this one is no different.
Yes.
Do you remember the film with Emma Thompson called Good Luck to You, Leo
Yeah,
Grant?
absolutely. I loved it.
We talked
Not
about
sure
it.
You did, but yeah, I did.
Well, I had some reservations, I have to say, but we talked about it a few years back. So an older woman whose husband had died and they'd had a rather unremarkable sex life. And she decided that she wanted to hire a male escort so that she could have an orgasm. She's apparently had always faked it with her husband. So that was the story. I don't know why I wasn't sure of it. I mean, I did like the basic concept. I think what I didn't like was there was a slight sense that she should be grateful as an older woman to be having sex with a younger man. And I didn't like that. Or maybe that was me just projecting onto it.
Well, yeah.
It could have been.
Don't want to go deep so early on, but...
As the actress said to the bishop. And also there was this feeling that she was so brave when she looked at her naked body. There's that famous scene when Emma Thompson took off her clothes and stood in front of the mirror. And some of the reporting of it was sort of like, oh, isn't she brave looking at her, 60-year-old body? And I didn't like that either. Maybe, again, I was projecting. I
loved the film. I thought it was great.
But you're much more simple than me.
Actually, it's just like you go to see a movie, you like it or you don't. You don't have to sit and analyse it. It was a good movie to me.
Okay, yeah. No, I get that. Absolutely. Anyway, it was fiction. It was fiction.
It was.
Today's guest is going to tell us about a similar experience, but this time it is for real.
Maybe she wrote the screenplay.
Well, we'll find out. It's Gail Rice. She's a Canadian-born psychologist. She now lives in Australia. And for her 70th birthday, she decided to hire a male escort. Apparently, it was a toss-up between that and skydiving.
I've done the skydive.
Oh, your 70th coming
Still
up.
to go.
Do you remember we spoke to Elise Johnson, who committed doing 70 new things in her 70th year? Yeah. And she did a skydive as a hat.
I was thinking, was that one of them as well?
Yeah.
Yes.
But she also did a boudoir photo shoot.
That's right. What was the other thing?
She studied her erotic blueprint.
Because I didn't know what that was.
Yeah.
That's
neither
right.
did I, to be fair. Took up pole dancing as well.
Yeah.
All of which she said did increase her enjoyment of sex.
Yes.
And she'd actually had a pretty unpleasant marriage that she told us about. I've no idea what Gail's relationship history is. Anyway, we will find out what Gail's motivation was for hiring a male escort and if she got what she was looking for after the email of the week. It's just a quickie as it happens.
Boom, boom.
I know.
Yes.
I can't resist the actress and bishop jokes. I do apologise. So it's from Barbara.
Oh, hi, Barbara.
She says, "Dear Kaye and Karen, so she's referring to the midweek catch-up, I think a couple of weeks ago when you were talking about wanting to go for counselling after the breast cancer treatment.
Oh, right.
So she's saying, I'm sitting here in tears listening to your midweek catch-up, and I can so relate to Karen. I was diagnosed last March, but fortunately I didn't need chemo. Thank you so much, Karen, for sharing. I am so in awe of your amazing positive attitude."
Thank you, Barbara. That's really nice of you.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are.
Thank you.
Even I am, I have to say.
Yeah.
All right, we're not trying to
Yes.
make you cry.
No.
So anyway, Barbara says, I'm coming to see you both at the Edinburgh Fringe in August.
Oh, lovely.
Hopefully we can introduce ourselves, sending lots
That'd
of
be
love.
nice.
Barbara, absolutely do that. Please, please, please.
Yes.
It might be, if the ticket sales are going as I think they are, just you, me and Karen, Barbara. So we can perhaps go out for afternoon tea.
God, is it ever?
Karen's paying. It's marvellous, marvellous. Right, give us the web. The podcast address, please, and also a good old plug for the tickets for the Fringe. Go and sell it.
Right. So get in touch with us, podcast@hdb60.com. We're on at the Fringe the 8th, 9th and 10th.
It's the 7th, 8th and 9th.
Shit. The 7th, 8th and 9th of
August.
It's the Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I've got that bit right. I think there are tickets left. So you can get them through Gilded Balloon website.
Yeah.
Or how else? Is there another way?
The official Edinburgh
yes.
Festival Fringe
Yes.
website, but probably best with the Gilded Balloon website.
Yeah. Honestly, please come see us.
I mean,
leave just me and Kaye there on my own.
Yeah, it will be slick. We won't forget anything. It will be cohesive. It
It'll be
will
natural.
Be professional,
It'll be
won't
us.
it? Yeah.
On stage.
It'll be shit.
Yeah.
No, it won't.
It
So
won't.
we are at the Edinburgh Fringe this August, the 7th, 8th and 9th. It's 2:45 at the museum, which is the same venue that we did last
That's
year,
right.
which was absolutely wonderful. And the best place to go for your tickets is the Gilded Balloon website. Just type that in, or the official Edinburgh Fringe website. You will get them there.
So it sounds like I didn't do a very good job of a plug when you just had to repeat it all.
I thought maybe a second pass at it was probably wise.
Right, move on.
Shall we speak to Gail?
Yes.
Hi there, Gail.
Hi, you too.
Now, listen, Gail, obviously we want to know why you made this decision at 70, but let's not rush things. Let's have a little bit of foreplay here.
Oh my God, we're not going to hear this all the way through.
All right, I'm going to stop the innuendo, right? That's the end of it.
Thank you.
But where were you at 60, Gail? Were you happy? Were you unhappy? Were you married? Were you single? I mean, was good sex, bad sex? Tell us the lead up to this.
Okay. I've never been married. I've always been single. I've had lots of different relationships, but it started very young. I think by the time I was about 14, I decided I was never getting married. And I made a commitment to myself. And yeah, and I wasn't that good at long-term relationships. Like I've had good relationships, but they tend to be a few years at a time. So I always think it's a bit like I like musical chairs. I could stay in the chair for a while, but then I needed to get a new partner. I've got a bit bored. So by the time I was in my 60s, it was probably about 65, I just woke up one day and I thought, I don't know, I was just bored out of my wits, basically, with the dates the guys I was meeting. And I got to a point where I just felt that the bar had got so low. So I actually had 3 criteria for my dates at that point. Did he ask me a question about myself? Was he able to talk about anything other than his ex-partners, his dead wife, his golf handicap, or his super? And then the third one, if he gets through those 2, could he walk around the block? And it would just have got to a point where I thought, nah, I don't need this anymore. I've always been happy on my own. So at 65, I went back to my happy single life. I just approached something about turning 70. It just, I don't know, I guess it terrified me because it felt like I'm going to fall off into a cliff, into oblivion. I was going to sort of disappear into old age. Something, I was not going to be seen anymore. And I think then I started to think, what do I need? I need a battery jump. I need to wake up. I need to get some energy entering this new decade. So I had those 2 choices between the parachute jump and the escort. And the escort sort of came from nowhere. I think a friend said to me at one point, you should try that. It's interesting because it wasn't like I was looking for sex particularly, but I was really scared of becoming a non-sensual, non-sexual being as I went into this new decade. And because I live on my own, no touch. And because I'm a psychologist, I also know the power of touch. And it was more like sensual intimacy, I think I was looking for to wake me up.
I was going to say, it's really interesting to hear you explain it that way, Gail, because I mean, obviously I've just read about you up until this point. It's the first time we've spoken, and you look at it and you think, what, skydiving or a male escort? That's a bit of a kind of contrast.
Yes.
But the way you described the way you were feeling as you approached 70, do you think it was, and you're the psychologist here, not me, that you were looking for a jolt of life? And sex is that, isn't it?
That's it. I was looking for a battery jump. I was looking for a jolt. And I sort of had to scare myself into something. I had to do something that made me a little scared. And taking off my clothes in front of a stranger clearly made me scared. So it's exactly that, Kay. I talk now about scaring myself alive. I wasn't afraid of dying. I was just afraid of sort of flatlining. I needed a battery jump.
Yeah. I mean, was sex a big part of what you were looking for? Has it been a big part of your life? Is it important to you? Because some people, it is very important to. Other people's, it's not.
Yeah, I wasn't someone with a really high libido. Sex wasn't a big driver in my life. And I know that. I see a lot of clients that's a big driver. For me, no, it wasn't. And it cost me $1,650 for the escort. I laugh now. I think I could have gone on a great trip to Paris or Tokyo or something for that. And that travel's my jam. Travel's the thing I spend money on. Travel's where I get my orgasm. So it was something. And it was also about being with a man. I think I wanted to be with a man and have an experience I had some control over. Okay, maybe. I don't know.
$1,600, that would make me book. Did it?
You have to translate that word.
That would
make you sick.
Take my breath away.
Yes.
Did you expect it was going to be that amount of money, and was it worth the money?
Wow. No, I didn't expect it, and I mean, I could have got it for a lot less. Like when I went online, I might have got away with $200 or $300, but I would have been with someone that probably would have been 20 years old and that looked like, this wasn't his real job. So what got me there was, well, I'd pay for that for a trip. I would. I wouldn't think twice about it. And I thought, well, this is a trip. This is my trip. So in answer to was it worth it? Well, it's a long story, but yes and no. Initially, no, it was a disaster. Now, you talk to me now, I'm 72, a couple of years in, absolutely. I got more out of that $1,600 than 10 trips. It was more than worth it.
Okay, well, bring us back to the date itself, if that's what you'd like to call it.
The deed.
Why was it a disaster?
Well, it was a disaster partly because of me. Because when I get nervous, I interview people. And I was really nervous. And I'd booked this expensive hotel room and had all these. And I just started interviewing him. And I realized I'd interviewed him for an hour. Like, he's telling me about his sex work. And I think that might have put him off his game or something. So the next 2 hours, it wasn't even quite 2 hours. I can't even describe it. It's like you order one meal and you get another meal. It was so bad. Most of the time he spent his head kind of lying on my shoulder as if I was supposed to pat his head or something. There was nothing sexual, nothing sensual. The erotic massage. So I asked for an erotic massage in an orgasm. The erotic massage it was like someone was rubbing my tummy. It was so bad. It wasn't, I've had better remedial massages. So it was a disaster. And I asked him to leave 20 minutes early. Because at one point I felt I kind of drifted off. And he said to me, "Oh, you must be so relaxed." And I thought, no, I'm just dissociating here. This is so bad. And he was a really nice guy. He was a really, really nice, intelligent, lovely guy. I think something he said at the middle of the session, he said, young women tend to like, so I asked what women are looking for when they hire escorts. And he says, well, young women tend to like hot sex and older women tend to like the boyfriend experience. And I said, what's the boyfriend experience? And he said, oh, cuddling and kissing. And I said, well, that's not what I asked for. I didn't ask for that experience, but that's kind of what I got. So long story short, I asked him to leave. And then I wrote him an email the next day and said, first of all, I had a few things happen. I had chocolate cake delivered for my birthday. So I had a lovely chocolate cake and the rest of the champagne in bed, which was the most yummy part of the evening. Then I started going a bit downhill in my head, thinking, who was I kidding? What did I think? I could be with a 40-year-old guy. All that negative self-talk. And then just something snapped. And I thought, no way. I'm writing to this guy. And I wrote and I said, not good enough. You didn't deliver what I asked for. Within a minute, he sent me a note. He was refunding the money, the whole money, the full refund.
Oh, excellent.
And it was like that was the most exciting thing because I've been seen, I've been heard. He realized it was a disaster. It affirmed what I felt. Yeah.
What did it affirm?
Well, it affirmed that it was that bad. It affirmed that he was saying, he was agreeing he hadn't done his job. Because basically I worded the email a bit like from one professional to another. I said, we're both in the business of intimate relationships. I provide a place for people to be emotionally safe. You provide a place for people to be physically and emotionally safe. I'd asked for something very specific. He said very specifically, no problem. I'm going to deliver that. So I sort of spoke to him like a service provider, really. So he affirmed he hadn't provided service.
I find that so interesting. I mean, obviously, it's such an intimate experience that you had, and that's not meaning to be salacious when I say that. I mean, deeply exposing and all of that. You know, and it didn't work out. You called it a disaster. I think can we go back into why it was a disaster? But you managed to come out of it thinking, well, he was supposed to deliver a service. He didn't deliver it successfully. I put in a complaint and he accepted that and gave me my money back. And so in your head, you've resolved it. For me, personally, that experience would have destroyed me because I would have thought, he's a guy 20, 30 years younger than me. I'm being very personal here, Gail. I'm not putting this on you. I would have thought, I'm an old woman. He's a young guy, 20 or 30 years younger than me, and he's seen me naked and he can't get it up. That's what I would be thinking.
And I was that. I was absolutely that for most of the night. Absolutely. That was my script. And when I snapped and decided to stand up for myself, that was the difference somehow.
Yeah.
And then I guess what I did, Kaye, then I wrote about the experience. And then going back to what you asked, if it was a good experience, what really started to be the good experience was after I wrote about it.
Got it
because then what I got was women saying to me, I can't, how brave and good on you. And I've been disappointed with men. I don't know, the whole thing about, I just felt this chorus of women saying to me, amazing. And then I got the chorus of men, the anonymous chorus. And anonymous, the women usually had their name. And I guess all the anonymous people weren't men, but I could pretty well guess. So the men were saying, disgusting, ridiculous. Who do you think you are? Get a dog. The poor man, look what he had to work with. Like really scathing. And there was a moment, Kate, where I thought, I could feel myself breaking apart. I could feel myself thinking, that's the voice I've got about myself. How dare I think it? And then again, something just kind of clicked. And what clicked was a woman wrote to me and said she'd seen an escort 6 times. She was 65. She'd seen this escort 6 times. Try this guy. And I thought, well, I can sit here in the crap that's thrown at me, or I can get up and go again. And I did. So I hired a second escort. And that one was fantastic.
So tell us about that then.
Yeah, the second one, I mean, the difference from the second one was chalk and cheese. This guy actually didn't take money until the end of the session because he said, if I haven't pleased you, I'm not taking your money. Good start. And basically, it was fantastic, partly too because I showed up. No interviewing. I just thought, okay, I don't need to do the job here. This guy knows what he's doing. And that's not who I am normally either. I like to be in control, but I sort of handed it over to him. And I said, well, you know what I want. You know your job. And I did an interview, and then it was 2 delicious hours.
How did it feel to be naked, vulnerable, having a sexual encounter with a stranger 20 odd years younger than you?
Yeah, 30 years younger than me. He was 40. The second one felt like I didn't think about it. The second one felt like I wasn't aware. I mean, I was aware he had a gorgeous body, but I wasn't I was really comfortable in my body. I didn't kind of notice it. I was the first time taking off my clothes. And maybe because I'd had the first time, maybe I'd done it once before and it was easier. I thought I can do this. But the second time I was totally unaware of being critical of my body. And when I look at my sex history and what we said earlier, probably a whole lot of times when I was 20, 30, and 40, I would have been very critical of my body. Had nothing to do with the age. So something about me with him, it had nothing to do with my age. I just felt like we're here together and this is really fabulous.
And was it fabulous?
It was fabulous. It was absolutely fabulous. And it was fabulous, to the point of having like a 20-minute chat after about he was a writer too. And we were chatting. I mean, it's just fabulous. It felt really, really amazing. And at the end, he says, it kind of felt a bit weird paying him or I didn't pay him. I said I'm going to send him the money. It felt a bit weird I hadn't paid. I said, I feel a bit weird I hadn't paid. He goes, well, that's why I do it, because I'm not going to walk out this door and give you my bank account details until I know you're happy. So he really loves his job and he loves women. And we had a chat about that too. He's saying how many women, he loves his job because he loves making women feel good and happy. But he said how shocked he is. Most women have this thing about their body, he says. It's really hard to watch most women tell me the story about I don't feel comfortable in my own body and I don't like being looked at. And he said, there's a lot of women that do like their bodies, but he said the vast majority, he said, whether you're 30 or 70. And it gave me a lot of faith too that could be a really good job. It's a service.
It's interesting, though, going back to the first guy, you sound like you're taking some responsibility for it, when actually it's not your responsibility.
No.
He's there to fulfill that contract, in inverted commas, and should have steered it in that direction.
Yeah, not responsibility, but I mean, when two people are going to have sex, it's got to be a bit of a two-way street.
It does, a bit, yes. It does have to be a bit of a two-way street. I think I agree, though, with you, too. In fact, he should have been able to come in and stop me interviewing.
But when you look back on that first experience and you call it a disaster, you must have reflected on it. What made it a disaster? If you could replay that again, how would you replay it?
Well, I replayed it how I did with the second escort. And I do think, and I'm not taking responsibility in a heavy way here. I do think I set him off his game. I do think he might have read my interviewing as a whole other thing. I think he might have misread what I was doing. So it was a disaster because I didn't let him do his job. I think he got stuck in his own story. I wasn't 30. I didn't want the hot sex. And if he couldn't give me the hot sex, whatever that was, he only had this other thing to offer. But he's ignoring what he'd agreed to, what I'd asked for.
It's a bit of a brutal question, but do you think there was anything about your age and all that brings? And I'm not just talking about physically, I'm talking about a sense of confidence and, perception that kind of disabled him, if you like.
Yeah, I do. I think disabled. So I think that's why when I asked him right at the very beginning, first email I sent, I'm 70 years old. I haven't had sex now for 5 years. I spelled it out. I said, I really need to feel confident that you've got experience with this kind of client. So he said yes. I think, though, my guess is he had experience with this kind of client in his girlfriend way. I think that's the problem. And I think the guess is, I think he thought she thinks that's what she wants. What she really wants is this thing. And because I was talking to him for an hour, he thought, oh, here we are. We're having a boyfriend experience.
Yeah. So the second experience, was it much more sexual?
Yeah. I had 2 orgasms. So I didn't get just one. I got 2. And he was a very good masseuse. And he was sensual. Again, I didn't know what a sex worker does. I've never been to one or know anyone that's been to them, but he was very caring, sensual, and both men were very smart. very intelligent, good talkers. So it wasn't like you were in there with somebody who was just banging away at you. Like both men were good conversationalists, which is part of what you want when you're having a sexual experience. You want somebody who can string a few words together. So Mitch had all of those things sort of going for him. And I've often been asked, would I ask him again? And the answer is no. I would not do it again with him. Because for me, that experience has to be a one-off in my thing. I don't want a relationship with an escort. I don't need a relationship with an escort because, as what we got back to earlier, I don't have a high sex drive. So I don't need an ongoing relationship. I'd rather have a relationship with my masseuse. That's more sensual to me. So no, I wouldn't. He was great, but would I go back? No, to him. And I'm not even sure I'd go back to another escort. But I think this experience has just, the battery jump was actually finding my voice. The battery jump was thinking, oh, this is life. This is what I want my 70s to be. I want to be talking to you guys. I want to be in the world. I want to be writing articles. I'm doing a cabaret in a couple of weeks. I'm not interested in the dating. I think I just needed to see, what does this aging look like?
Uh-huh. Yeah, so we're coming back to the psychoanalysis. Was it then more about doing something that would be perceived as outrageous? And I mean, I'm not saying that you were doing that in a performative way, but you were defying the stereotypes. You were absolutely busting through the normal expectations of what 70-year-old women do on their 70th birthday. I mean, they're supposed to go to an afternoon tea, aren't they?
Yeah,
and come home and watch a soap opera and have an early night. That's what they're supposed to do. They're not supposed to go and have sex and get naked with a guy 30 years younger than them.
No.
So do you think that was part of your, fuck it, I'm not going to be the 70-year-old woman you want me to be?
Yeah, I do. I think, fuck it, I'm not going to do the afternoon tea. But it wasn't about being so outrageous as just going back to what I said, the boot I needed to wake up. So the battery jump I needed, and it needed to be risky. It needed to be something risky, something scary, something I hadn't done. And when you talked about earlier that woman doing 70 things in her 70th year she haven't done, I relate. That's exactly what this feels like to me. Mm-hmm. And instead of doing 70 things, I did a couple things that gave me the jump I wanted. But now what I'm doing is just with the writing, just talking to you guys. I just feel like I'm alive. I'm alive and I'm not alone. Yeah. And I'm meeting all these amazing, not just older women. I meet so many women in their 30s and 40s that say to me, gosh, you're teaching me I've got to sort of ask for what I want. So maybe that's what I'm doing. I'm asking for what I want. And I guess the second bit is if I don't get it, I'll try something else. If I don't get it, I might just let the person know. Which is, I mean, again, as a therapist, and don't need to be a therapist to know this, but us women tend to spend a whole lot of our life trying to make other people happy. And not that that's a bad thing. It's our superpower. But it also means sometimes, I guess I feel like I'm going to be happy. And I don't need to worry about making other people happy because just by being alive, I can make other people happy. I don't know. I've heard a lot of women say to me, and I guess I thought a lot about this too when I looked back at my own sex life. Just it makes you think about your own sex life too. And I thought, I spent a lot of my time, especially in my younger years, but even later, kind of positioning myself so somebody else was happy first. And not just sexually, emotionally, physically, everything. And I maybe just trust the world a bit better. Maybe just think, oh, maybe if I just look after myself first, everybody else will be able to look after themselves. Not my job. I think
it's funny you saying that. I mean, like, as you say, different people have different sex drives. Sex may or may not be important to them, but it's, it's a major thread through most adult people's lives. I wonder how many women can look back at their sex life and think of the experiences where it was about their pleasure, that was the primary focus, was their pleasure. Yeah. Or is it more likely that, not that they weren't enjoying it, but do you know what I mean? That they weren't, you know what I'm trying to say?
I think a lot of men will own that too now. When I talk to men and clients, or just talk to men about this now, a lot of men will say, I look back on like men talking about their early sexual experiences and saying, I feel really embarrassed about who I was because it was all about me. The men would say that. So I think us women aren't making it up. I think, and even these 30-year-old, 40-year-old women I speak to, and my clients too, it's not that life's that different. I think women still are learning to, you know, the whole Me Too stuff. We're still learning to say no or to say yes, or it's still happening in the bedroom and everywhere else. That nice girl. And it's not that we didn't have fun.
No, you're right. It's not that you didn't have fun, and it's not necessarily even abusive. It could be as kind of mild as, you know, oh, well, I don't want to go on top because I've got a big belly and I'm going to look ugly, or, you know, just sort of like self-censoring yourself so that you can present as sexy, and you don't want your belly rattling up and down. I mean, I know, sorry, a bit of a horrible example, but you know what I mean? You know, that sort of societal pressure, rather than being with a nasty guy, you could be a lovely guy.
Could be a lovely guy. And the guy probably doesn't care. See, I think there's that other side too. I think we made a lot of those things up ourselves too. The guy maybe didn't care what size their stomach was either. We did.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a bit of a Western thing on that. I mean, I've got a Jamaican friend, a female friend, who talks about sex, and I don't know whether it's her, I don't know whether it's cultural, but she has a much, much healthier attitude. Much healthier. And, you know, the kind of obsession with body and bits being perfect or not perfect or whatever just doesn't feature in our conversation. It's a much more, when she speaks about sex, it's much more joyful.
Yes.
And what a wonderful human experience.
She has confidence.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
yes, we lack.
And isn't continuing saying, oh, my cellulite, oh, my boobs, oh, my this, oh, my...
But that's why when you mentioned the image of Emma Thompson standing in front of the mirror, I was interested in what you're saying, because I remember seeing that image and thinking, me too, thinking, gosh, that's brave. Could I do that as an actor, stand in front of a mirror naked like that? And we would never say that about, and like the comments, so that's me internally, but the comments would never say that about a man. If a man stood in front of the mirror naked like that at 70, we wouldn't be saying, how brave is he? We wouldn't notice it. And that's what you were saying earlier, I think. I mean, that tells us the cultural norms right there. It's like she's daring to unveil something that's unspoken about, or we don't want to really know. And that's why when I found people saying I was brave, it really didn't go with me. I just felt that's not how I feel. But I think the brave comes in partly that stereotype too. And I thought about it later, and I thought, yeah, it was the thing that was brave for me. And it's interesting that you mentioned that about Emma Thompson. The thing that was brave was taking off my clothes in front of him. Yeah. That was the most brave thing I did. Everything else sort of paled. So it's exactly that thing in the mirror. It's exactly that, you know, can't we do this in the dark sort of thing? And I didn't, but that was the courage for me. It wasn't getting the escort. It was being naked at 70 and not 30 in front of someone. Although I know at 30 I would have felt awful, and I would have thought I was wrong then too.
And given that we are how to be 60, how do you think it would have felt at 60 for you?
If I'd done that at 60, I think I would have felt the same. But I wouldn't have done it at 60 because I didn't have the drive or the motivation or like 60, I didn't feel that old. 70, because I'm going to be working till I'm 82, I just felt like 70 feels like the wrong age. Like, how did this happen? And it was an internal thing. How did this happen? This can't be happening. I can't be 70. 70 means old. So again, that's our Western culture too. And I'm always sucking it up. I mean, I always believe in that. And I feel it less now. Like 2 years later, I feel less conscious of my age and more happy to say I'm 72. Like really happy to say I'm 72. Whereas it was like I don't want to enter this world. It felt like I was entering some awful grey world of elderly. And it's where people went for afternoon teas and, I don't know, went to bed early and stopped driving cars. And I don't know. I mean, I see it happening to some of my friends at 40 and 50, not 40, 50 and 60. It's sort of closing in.
Mm-hmm.
I was scared of that.
Mhm.
And it might never have happened to me because I'm me, but I felt like I was in danger of that. I was in danger of shutting down.
So apart from clearly, a memorable, enjoyable, important evening for you with the encounter with that guy, what has all of this brought you?
A confidence, a sense of, I think for the first time, I can kind of trust my voice to ask for what I want. I mean, I've always been quite assertive, but it feels more in here now. It feels like I feel much more grounded in myself. It's brought me a sense of energy about how I want to live my life. It's also brought me, in a funny way, a bit of regret. Because if I could roll back the show, if I could have done this at 30, maybe not the escort, but whatever this is, finding my voice, trusting myself, asking for what I want, saying no when I don't want. If I could have found that at 30 and not 70, I think there's a little twinge of, wow, things could have felt a bit more different. So I feel that, and then I think, well, yes, that's true. And right now I've got this, I can grab life now. I guess the thing now is I feel I'm grabbing life and it feels so exciting and so much is happening. And I have to be realistic. 20 years ago I was 50, 20 years from now I'm 90. I've got to be realistic. The plank's a bit shorter. So I feel I've been given a gift, but it's a short plank.
And the good thing is you found your voice
I
now.
have.
Yeah.
That's right. I found it now, and I found it because I went looking. I didn't just find it outside the street. I found it because I feel I had agency. I don't feel like I've won lotto. I feel like I made this happen. I found my voice because I went looking, not because it knocked on my door.
But also, you have managed to rid yourself of the dread that you were feeling.
Absolutely. And not only rid myself, I've landed in a universe that it's like I would never have thought existed. I would never have thought I'd be talking to you two. I would never have thought I'd be writing essays. I would never in my wildest dreams have thought that. And I love it. I'm just looking at your lovely sign behind you, how to be 60. And I just think how exciting. And the other thing is I feel I've entered the zeitgeist in a way. Maybe it's the baby boomers. I've entered the zeitgeist that we are saying, we talk about it. We want to live differently as we age.
Yeah,
So we want to talk about it.
Absolutely. Gail, listen, thank you so much. About so much more than booking an escort. So much more than booking an escort, but such an interesting way into that conversation. Listen, I should have said, and I didn't, we always do something called Big Six, so bingo. So Karen is going to take over and ask you for a couple of numbers and then ask you a couple of questions.
So two numbers between 1 and 60.
Okay, I'll take 32 and 18.
32, first of all. Favorite photograph of yourself?
My favorite one's a photo of me, and I would have been about 16 months old. And I was perched at the edge of on the edge of a rowboat, a seat. My legs are hanging over the edge of the boat. And I was just perched there. My father must have been somewhere in the picture. But I love it because it just looks so independent.
God, that's nice, isn't it? The promise of what you were going to be.
Yes.
Yes. 18. Retirement resistant or retirement reveler?
An aging reveler rather than an aging resistant or an aging fear. So, yeah, I'm really, really committed to working for as long as I can. So when I hear the word retirement, I just think it's never really resonated well with me. But so I resist retirement. I will, but I'll revel in aging.
But if you love it and you can keep doing it, then why not?
Yeah. Yep. Well, I love your program.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you. Well, listen, Gail, thank you so much, and for giving up your evening for us. It's been really, really lovely and interesting to speak to you. Given a lot to think about. So thank you. So first of all, I cannot believe that the first question you asked Gail was how much did it cost? That
For
was
God's sakes.
so Scottish.
It's the question that it's the answer that everyone wanted to hear.
Was
People,
it?
do you not think so? Yes, it was. I mean,
Yeah.
it was expensive.
So, so a woman employs the services of a sex escort, and all you want to know is how much it cost.
Well, just for reasons. Yeah. Would you not want to know, Kay? Yes, for your own reasons as well. No. Well, I was just intrigued, actually.
Were you thinking about it?
No, and not at all, not at all. Well, not this decade, but you never know what's round the corner. Anyway, I'm just glad that she got a refund, for God's sakes, and satisfaction guaranteed next time, second time. Yes, Christopher. Yeah.
What did you think of Gail's reasons for doing it? Because I thought it was really interesting. It was about much more than just like a one-off sexual encounter, wasn't it?
Yeah, of course it was. I mean, it was great. It's interesting that she wasn't ready to do that in her 60s. The time came in her 70s, and then she felt she wanted to do. And look at what it gave her. She had confidence second time round. It was just so lovely. It was great to hear her, just her own person.
Yeah, I must admit, because at first when she said that, she emailed the first guy, and said, that wasn't to my satisfaction, and so I want my money back. There was a bit of me kind of went, oh my God, and I kind of winced a little bit. But actually, when, she explained that was about, finding her voice.
Yes.
And, she had asked for certain things. Those certain things were not delivered. And therefore she felt that it was appropriate to say, you didn't give me what I wanted. And therefore, so it was much more about confidence, wasn't it? And being able to, because in so many situations in life, you might be unhappy with whatever the outcome is. And you just say, oh, I won't say anything. I won't say anything. I'll just, keep quiet and never mind.
Yeah, would you ever think that, Kay?
Oh, a lot of the times. I can't be bothered with complaining a lot of the time.
Is that right?
I would never have complained in that instance, never.
In that instance, what, when you've been out with a male escort?
Well, yeah, because as I said to Gail, I would have just felt that it was partially my fault.
That's interesting, isn't it? Because he was there to deliver a service, regardless of what her input was or whatever. She did absolutely the right thing. I think I would, and I am going back to the money again. But if it had been 100 quid, I'd have maybe still thought, no, and I might have written it off. But the amount of money, God, I would be, as I say, raging. And you think you're never going to get that money back unless you do ask for a refund. I'm bloody good on her. That's all I can say. Good on her.
You are tight ass, aren't you?
I am not. Do you know what? If something is not, what do they say in the old customer services things? If it's not, if it doesn't do the job for, I can't even remember the phrase, but if you're not getting your money's worth or whatever, then you do have to kind of speak out, don't you? And I'm really glad that she did.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm glad that she did as well, because that made her feel better. It made her feel that she was taking control of the situation, that she had agency, and that she wasn't just sort of accepting substandard goods. So I totally get it from Gail's point of view. And it's obviously given her this great new, lease of life, surge of energy, and she's going into her 70s feeling good. So, I mean, what's not to like?
Exactly. Good on her.
Have you thought about being 70? I mean, I know obviously we're how to be 60, but because clearly 70 freaked her out big time.
The only thing I think about being 70 is where will I go on holiday? Where will I celebrate it? Like, will I do the Greek islands? Will I do Vietnam? Will I do, yeah, so no, do you know what? Am I pushing it back? I'm 67 this year. I still feel fine. I still feel, apart from my dodgy knee, you know what? No, I guess maybe nearer the time it might make a difference. But at the moment, I mean, 70 does sound a lot kind of bigger than 60. But at the moment, I'm just thinking, oh, how will I celebrate it? And I don't think I'll have a party. I'm just going to go on a holiday, I think.
Yeah.
That's my plan anyway at the moment.
I mean, I
Yeah.
must admit, I did smile when she said she saw it as the awful grey world of the elderly where people go for afternoon tea and go to bed early. I thought, well, Karen does that already.
And I love it. I love my cream teas. And I love going to bed in the wintertime. I could just go to bed with a book and curl up and be happy as Larry. But I can still do the other things as well. I'm still managing to live life. So I think you can do both.
Yeah. What would scare you then? She said she needed to do something that would scare her. What could you think?
A bungee jump. I would be terrified.
Oh, I don't
I'd be
fancy
terrified I'd break my neck.
that.
Yeah. Have you
No.
done what would scare you?
Well, a male escort would terrify the life out of me. That's
Would it? Hey,
Oh,
really? Seriously?
hard. Wouldn't it you?
No.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. If I was single, I'd be up for that. Good on her.
No.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
You're
Why
serious?
not? For God's sake. Why not?
Have you been drinking?
Maybe just a mouthful or two.
Wow.
If you were single and yeah, no, absolutely. Why not? For God's sakes. I mean, good on her reasons for it, but yeah, no. I think go for it. Go for whatever you want in life. Life's short.
Well,
There we are.
I think we should just end on that note, really, because you've taken the wind out my sails. I'm
You
staggered.
see, yeah, I wonder whether sometimes you say things that you don't really mean, and actually, come the day, Kay, you might be up for that as well.
Nah, not for me.
All
Not
right, so
for me.
sorry, what would, oh yeah, so that would scare you. Really? Would it? What would
Terrify
scare
me.
you?
Yeah,
Just
I'm
take
not
your
doing it.
clothes off.
In fact, I'm getting frightened even talking about it. We need to go now.
Christ, you're so abrupt. Okay, then. Right, let's not kind of like calm down, and let's not wind down slowly. All right, okay, I'm off now. Bye.
Right. Well, now that I've done it, I might as well follow through. Bye.
Cheery.
Next week on How to Be 60, in training to be an elder with Donna Lancaster.